Quick test. Have you had that moment where you look at your week ahead and your body tightens? Not because any single thing is terrible, but because it all feels like it's already been decided for you. This episode is about what happens when the shoulds start piling up, when what matters gets replaced by what's expected, and your life starts feeling like something that's happening to you rather than from you. If that doesn't sound familiar, this episode isn't for you. But if it does, you already know this feeling. The season just turns the volume up. The pressure isn't mainly the workload, it's the shoulds accumulating until your week stops feeling like yours. You're no longer choosing what matters, you're meeting the expectations as they arrive. You end up rushing, snapping, people-pleasing, or quietly resenting the things you're doing just to keep everything calm. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you a different way to meet that should pressure, and the small shift that gives you room to choose again without burning the whole season down. Picture this, Tuesday night. The week is already in motion. You've got a few things locked in, nothing outrageous, a dinner, a quick catch-up, a couple of end-of-year loose ends. Then your phone lights up, family group chat. Someone floats another get-together. It's framed casually, but you can feel the expectation underneath it. Should we do something Thursday? It's a question, but it doesn't land like a neutral question. It lands like there's an expected answer. If you say no, you'll need a reason. If you don't reply, you become the holdout. So before you've even checked in, your thumbs start moving. Sure, I can make it work. Send. And that's the moment. Nothing forced you, nothing dramatic happened. The message just skipped the pause where you would have asked what you actually want. A few minutes later, you're back to whatever you were doing, but something in you tightens. You're not mad, you're not panicking. It's just that quiet sinking feeling that another slice of your week got allocated. You didn't choose, the moment chose for you. Life happened to you. Okay, let's really break down what's happening here. You see that should feeling? It's not just one thing, it's actually two forces, two different pressures arriving at once. One pressure comes from the situation, the role you're in, the relationships you're inside, the unspoken rules, the momentum of the group. It pushes you toward what keeps things smooth and easy. That's why shoulds feel so obvious. It isn't just a thought, it's the situation pressing you toward the expected move. The other pressure is what you actually care about, not in a grand moral sense, just what matters to you. And this brings us to the core idea here, the two paths. On the default path, when life is happening to you, what matters shows up as a should. Importance arrives from the outside as expectation or obligation. On the authored path, when life is happening from you, what matters shows up as a simple question. What's important to me here? In the moment, both show up at once. Expectation and what matters to you, both competing for your attention and asking you to choose them. So the question is, what decides which one wins? If this distinction is landing, subscribe. This is weekly training for the moments where the default path tries to answer for you. Here's what's predictable. If the moment resolves itself automatically, it'll usually resolve toward what keeps things uncomplicated. Not because you're weak, but because that's the social default. And most of the time, nothing big happens, nothing explodes. You quietly hand the steering wheel over, one easy yes at a time. You keep saying yes to what's expected, and what matters to you only counts when it happens to line up. So what changes this outcome? It isn't a better argument, it isn't a better script, it isn't try harder, it's the missing middle. Because in the moment there are two pulls, a pull to keep it easy and a quieter pull toward what you actually want. That clash is the tension. The missing middle is that part of you that can stay present inside of that pull for one extra beat, long enough for a genuine choice to appear. Not effort, not resistance, orientation, the you in the middle. And that's why timing matters. The only moment you can change it is when the message lands, before you reply, before you lock yourself in, before you start typing. Because once it resolves, it usually resolves toward no drama. And that one beat comes with two trades. The default path gives you comfort now. You avoid that awkward moment, that little bit of social friction. But the bill always comes due later in the form of the feeling that you have less and less control. The authored path flips that deal. It asks you to tolerate a little bit of tension now, that brief, uncomfortable pause, in exchange for a much bigger reward later, a life that you actually feel like you're in charge of. And here's the part that most people miss. This isn't willpower, it's a capability, the ability to stay present under that pull long enough for choice to appear. And it's growable, which means this isn't a personality issue, It's a capability. Here's why. Capability only grows through practice. And by practice, I don't mean rehearsal or planning. Practice is a rep, short for repetition. And in this context, a repetition just means one real attempt in the moment, doing the authored path move while the default path is pulling. One pause before you reply, one check before you comply. That's why in IDOJO we say practice pays twice. One rep both meets the tension now and it builds your ability to meet the next one sooner. That's the move, staying present long enough for your answer to appear, instead of letting the pressure answer for you. Here's the training for this week. This isn't about having superhuman willpower. It's a capability, the combination of a skill and a muscle, and you can build it with a simple 10-second practice that you can start using literally the next time this happens. It's as simple as pause, check, hold. Step 1. Pause. When the message arrives or the request is made, don't answer immediately. Don't even start typing, just for a few seconds. Just enough time to stop the autopilot sure. In IDOJO, we call that move the shift. It's the first step of the shift from the default path to the authored path. Step 2. Check. One question. Ask yourself quietly, what matters to me here? Not what's the right thing, not what should I do, just what matters to me in this moment. Sometimes the honest answer will still be yes. The point is that it becomes your yes. And step 3. Hold. Do one small thing that holds the moment open before it decides for you. So what does holding actually look like? Well, it can be incredibly simple. It could be replying, let me check my calendar and get back to you. Or, I can't answer right now, but I'll reply by tomorrow. Heck, it can even be an invisible action, like just deciding to not respond for 10 minutes on purpose while you actually think. The goal isn't to say no, it's to interrupt the automatic yes and create enough space for a real choice to appear. That's the move, keeping the moment open long enough to choose. And when you practice that tiny move again and again, it starts to change the direction of your life. The default path and authored path don't lead to bad and good. They lead to different kinds of life. It has huge implications for the entire direction of your life. You see, over time, the default path organizes your whole life around whatever is loudest, the demands, the expectations, the urgent notifications. You can look really successful on the outside, but the space for what truly matters to you just gets smaller and smaller. The authored path, on the other hand, organizes your life around what is genuinely important to you. It's not about having an easy life. It's about having a life where you are the one steering the ship. And this is how you start to really trust yourself again. It doesn't come from telling yourself affirmations or trying to believe in yourself. It comes from evidence. It comes from seeing yourself in those real moments of pressure actually act from what matters to you. You prove to yourself one small authored choice at a time that you're in control. Because make no mistake, your next easy yes moment is coming. It might be tomorrow, it might be next week. The only question is when it shows up, who's going to be steering? That's the difference, not success, direction. If you want more episodes like this, training the moment the default path takes over, and instead building your self-authorship, subscribe. That's what this channel is for. When you live by should, life is organized by others' expectation. When you live by self-authorship, life is organized by what you actually care about.